Clear evidence points to the suspect beforehand. Cloaked evidence confirms the suspect after the fact. This is the fuse that's burning up to Jesus, the prophetic fuse. Don't you wonder why Jesus appeared when he appeared? Like, why didn't he come earlier? Or why didn't he come later? Don't you wonder about that? Is there something about this prophetic fuse that dictates his arrival and when it'll occur? Yeah, actually there is. These 5 investigative questions will eventually lead us to the most important question: who is the Messiah? Here are the first prophets who say anything about the coming Messiah. And that's Job, probably one of the most ancient scriptures, and Moses. Now I'm going to put on the screen for you in white, those are the clear prophecies. And in yellow, those are the cloaked prophecies. Let's go a little further in history. The fuse burns a little further to the next group that starts to speak about Jesus. And most of their utterances, because a lot of them are psalmists, are cloaked. They're all the orange ones, all the yellow ones here. Only the ones in white would I consider to be all that clear. So let's burn down that fuse a little further. And now we got a bunch more, right, of people who are offering. And I went back and looked at every, even if you thought it was cloaked, clear, whatever, I put them on my list. So here are the prophecies. Both the ones that are clear are white, the ones that are yellow are cloaked. Let's burn that fuse down a little bit further. So here's that fuse burning down to the next set of prophecies. That's going to be Isaiah. Oh my gosh, Isaiah, let me tell you, pretty much Isaiah says a lot about the coming Messiah. So there's all the stuff he says that I think is pretty clear. And again, in our book, we've got this all in the footnotes. Of course, in a presentation like this, you're going to trust me for this. Here's the stuff that is cloaked from Isaiah. Now we're going to go to Daniel. Daniel's going to be so helpful, right? Because Daniel's actually going to provide us with some clear and cloaked, clear evidence, clear prophecy here. And I want to just focus on the bottom half of your screen here. It's Daniel that's going to tell us, give us a pretty tight range. He says this Messiah is going to come between the decree that's going to be issued to rebuild Jerusalem. Now we can kind of get an idea when that would happen in history, from history itself. And then he'll appear also, though, before the temple is destroyed. Well, I know that happens in 70 AD. And the last prophets really kind of lock it in for us, and they kind of help us to answer all the questions. As a matter of fact, it's, I think, Malachi who tells us that, again, he confirms that now we're closer to that period of time when Jesus is going to appear. And he's telling us that he'll have to appear at a point when he can enter the temple. He suddenly enters the temple. That means the temple still has to be in place before, and we know, according to Daniel, that it's before it's destroyed. So now we got a better sense of the time frame in which Jesus is going to show up. So I'm just going to update my list of characteristics of the Messiah. And now I actually think that every question that you could answer has been pretty satisfactorily answered. And now you kind of see why history is aligning to a point when really the only open question is the who question. And if you got all the other questions answered, it's much easier to answer the who question. So let's go take a look at our Jesus right now. And remember, we're going to look at 2 kinds of prophecies. Clear prophecies, I'll put those on the left, and cloaked prophecies, we'll put those on the right. So let's take a look at our clear prophecies. That's not bad. These are clear prophecies that point to Jesus. Now I think there's enough here to identify Jesus. But if there wasn't, you could always look back in hindsight and ask the question, well, what do the cloaked prophecies say? And the cloak prophecies really lock it down. It turns out that there's a lot of this cloak stuff is actually just a repeat of the stuff that's in the clear evidence. So I'm going to cross that stuff out. This is the stuff that's actually on the clear side. So you could remove it from the cloak side because you don't really need it. So this is really the only stuff on the cloak side that we're including anyway. And I think if you look at all that stuff, you're going to find that Jesus of Nazareth is the best candidate for the who question.